live stream session with Phrankleen. If you're watching me for the first time, thank you for stopping by. My name is Phrankleen. I'm the brain behind this channel. If you like what I'm about, hit the like button. Feel free to look through my playlists for similar interesting content, okay? And if it's your cup of tea, give consideration to smashing the subscribe button, all right? Let's see who is online. And when you do smash the subscribe button, smash the bell button so you're notified when I'm online, all right? What's going on, people? What's up, Sam? Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, where you are. Happy holidays. Happy holidays, man. Yes. If you haven't, Juanita, what's up? BBB. Check me out on Instagram at Phrankleen. All right. Hey, Abolaji, what's going on, brother? Where are you, Abolaji? Where are you chatting from? You said good afternoon. Yes. So let's get the show started. If you can hear me clearly, can you hear me clearly? Give me a thumb up. Give me a thumb up if you can hear me clearly. Man, like, all right, Chicago. Nice. Let's get the let's get the show started. BBB, 3:40 p.m. in Florida. What's up, Sam? Happy holidays. Happy holidays to everybody. The year is drawing to a close. Has it been a good year for you guys? Has it been a great year? Has it been a challenging one? Are you looking forward to 2022? For me, this year has been $3:41 in Canada. Right, let's get the show started. So welcome to Storytime. If this is your first time, thank you for stopping by. If you're watching this as a playback, thank you for doing so. Sam, you said 2021 is your best year so far. So where is my commission from that year? Where is my commission, Sam? So nice one, man. Nice one. If it's been your best year, fantastic. If it's been challenging for you, stay positive and look forward to a fantastic, 2022. Sam, where is my commission? You need to throw me a box of all those big monies, man. Well done, bro. Thank you for always supporting my channel. I appreciate it. So yeah, let's crack it. What's up, Rita? So this lady sent me an email, and she basically sent me a story about what's going on with her father, right? So basically, she describes, her father as a controlling, parent, and everything about her life has always been dictated by her father up until this point, right? So anyway, over the years, she said, as a kid, she fell in love with oil painting. She's always wanted to become an artist, oil painting. So as much as I hate to say, but the classic African parent, particularly Nigerian parent. So when she was going to leave, I think college, she wanted to go into, arts proper, because that's what she really wants to do. She said she sent me snapshots of some of her paintings. They're quite great. They're lovely. But her dad wouldn't let her go down the route of being an oil paint artist. So he catapulted her from Nigeria to the States, and with the rest of the siblings. And it's always been, she said, it's always been emotionally insensitive. So he basically, the same thing with her siblings. You're going to become a lawyer. You're going to law school. You're going to study chemical engineering. Why? Because I say so. And he said, their mom hasn't got a choice. She's always bullied to silence. And basically 99.9% of the time, she would side with their father, right? So now, as the years went by, she basically said she was forced to go study mechanical engineering. When she got to the States, she studied mechanical engineering, right? She graduated, she did well, but over the years, the lady said, sense of fulfillment has been zero. Sense of fulfillment has basically been zero, all right? So she said she's been struggling with life, balance in life, and she did get good job and all that, but she would lose the job because the reason, it's like, it's mentally draining. I believe that it would actually lead to like emotional trauma if you were forced into an environment that you don't belong in. You understand? So the story was quite long-winded. I had to flesh out the bits that I need, for the show and stuff. She was basically trying to give me an extensive background so I can make an informed decision and I'd be able to tell my story, which I appreciate. So anyways, she said her father forced her to go to engineering school. The same thing with the firstborn, older brother. He was forced to study accountancy. And he never wanted to become an accountant. He wanted to do something to do with media, like productions and like production of films and stuff like that. But the dad wouldn't let him. Dad said he wasn't serious about his choices. He was forced to study accountancy. And the whole emotional blackmail was, I'm suffering, I worked hard, I paid my dues in life so that you guys can have a good life. How dare you? I brought you from Nigeria to the States. So it's like, of course, they live under his roof. He, provided food. He would provide food, accommodation, clothing, roof over their head, bed to sleep on. So even when they came out of teenage years and early 20s and all that, they were not allowed to, make their own choices. And they were bullied to silence. He said there was a time when the older brother confronted their father, verbally, and he was just sick and tired of the pretty much conservative lifestyle. They were not allowed to, they were not allowed to go spend time with friends, or if you go to a party, you were asked to come back home at 7:30, and everything about them was monitored. This particular lady said she was so terrified of her father that even at the age of 25, she didn't have a boyfriend. It's always like, if you're going to bring home a man, if you're going to go out with a man, it must be that you're marrying the man. And then there was heightened religiosity and all that. Anyways, so this lady, now check this out, had enough. First, it was the firstborn. He had enough, and then he left home. He went to live with one of his friends and stuff, and he became rebellious. He had issues with police in the States and all that, but thankfully he wriggled out of the situation. He had the relationship with the dad finally collapsed. So this particular lady that sent me this email also decided to move out. And then she got a lot of threats because the dad threatened her, you get disowned, you get thrown out of the family. And she said there was a night when she flared up and she was crying and yelling, and she got slapped in the face twice at the age of 29. So The lady's moved out now, and so she moved out at the time, and she basically picked up, art, started taking art classes. She's already naturally talented, gifted, right? So she started pursuing art, and said the moment the father discovered that she's gone to art school, um, and basically dropped the engineering and stuff. The lady said as soon as she started working in the environment of oil painting, what she has always wanted to do as a kid, the sense of fulfillment came rushing. She even started selling some of her paintings on Etsy, other, online platforms. It wasn't about the money at that point in time. It was about sense of fulfillment. So she said suddenly, any other benefit or anything, the father cut everything off. And the threat was, you must never step a foot in my house. And some family members tried to, extended family members and family friends, they tried to sit down with him to say, look, man, if they want to live their life, let them live their life, and let them make their own choices. Said, but their dad is a very stubborn man. He's a one-way traffic, doesn't listen to anybody else. He has a lot of explanation to, he always talks about, them being a top medical doctor. He said, the last born started medical school, after the second year dropped out. So you can see there is a pattern. And said the dad will curse him out and call him all sorts of names. He's a never to do well type. He's lazy. He's making excuses. He won't amount to much in life, yada, 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 and all that stuff. So this lady said their mom, she confronted their mom and challenged her about a refusal to put a foot down or protect them or fight their corner. It's whatever their father says or goes and all that. So anyway, the man then, bear in mind, there was four of them, four children. So the man, their father, suffered heart attack, and he died in Colorado, right? He died. Now, of course, it was heartbreaking. It was devastating that he died. He suffered heart attack. He said right in the living room of one of his childhood friends, he died, and they buried him and all that. So they were, like I said, because the parents, kind of a bit well off. Anyway, and then it was when they were going through their dad's will and all that stuff, this lady discovered herself and the firstborn that they had been cut out of inheritance. She was meant to get an inheritance of about 60,000 US dollars, and the dad cut her off. The older one, the oldest, who is the firstborn, was meant to get an inheritance of nearly $90,000. He cut them off. And then he took the inheritance and combined it and split it between the other two siblings that were in between, So she said she got the shock of her life. She said, aside the money, it was devastating. She's always known who her father is and all that. And this was what happened. She said the third one, the one in between, the third one, he refused to, he got his own separate inheritance. So he told the other one that we're not going to take that money. Let's give it to our brother and sister. The other one disagreed, took the additional amount, and the other one tried to give them the money, but the lawyers wouldn't let them and all that. It became complex, and their mom stood in the way, said that's their father's wish. So they fell out with their mom, and she said, basically, the family split in two now. So her brother, remember, he was the first person that moved out of the house and became, lost his cool, got in a major fight with their mom. It was so painful, because they're being treated like outcasts and all that. So because he was telling their mom, he said he called their mom spineless. So she called the police. So the police came, because there was a major argument, and they listened to what was going on. And anyway, the police didn't arrest anybody. They left. They just said it's a family, type issue. Sort yourselves out. So they disappeared. But this lady says since then the family is split in half. Doesn't speak to her mom anymore. Eventually, the other two, they took the money, and so it's just herself and the firstborn sibling. The other two were given lots of inheritance by their father, and he gave specific instructions. He actually called both of them outcasts because why? They chose a pathway that they wanted. The other two followed the father's dictation. He basically chose their pathway for them. And so this lady, of course, she's devastated, but then she highlighted, I can understand being heartbroken that you're treated that way, but then she highlighted, that money, about 60 odd $1,000, which is a lot. The firstborn would have been paid $90,000 in cash and stuff. So she kept going on in the email about how that money would have helped her. So imagine when you add up 60 and 90,000, that would have been what? About $150,000 that the father split in half and gave us additional money to the other two siblings in between. And that has left a crack. He said that they don't talk to them once anymore. So now, the issue is the lady's heartbroken. So I'm going to give my own view. And then she's talking about how the other two siblings, they took all the money, and, they no longer have a relationship with them. So it's just herself and the firstborn, the oldest sibling. They are the only ones getting along. The mom doesn't speak to them. Basically, she's saying their dad's wish, and she said a lot of toxic stuff. She said over the years, their mom didn't do anything to fight their corner or even challenge their dad's thought process. So it's the way it is. She's devastated. She keeps going on about that money. The family is split in two ways. And she was asking me, Phrankleen, I don't know what to do. I'm devastated, and this is my story. Now, what do I say? I know personally, based on personal experience and, over time, I know that there are, we've always talked about it, narcissistic parents. They're very controlling, that they will hijack the life of their children. Even as an adult, they don't respect boundaries. They will dictate how you're meant to live your life and all that stuff. And some of these parents, when they know that you are particularly monetarily reliant on them, they will keep dangling the carrot. They will weaponize it against you until you conform. Oh, good question. How was she surviving before the inheritance? I think she had jobs. She was working. Of course, she was living in the parents' house. They had a big house. So eventually she moved out, and there was flat sharing with a friend. So somebody said that's not narcissistic. Let me educate you a light on. Let me tell you what's narcissistic. Some of you, it makes me laugh. You do not have the right to dictate to children or like anyone the pathway they want to choose in life. You can educate them. If somebody says, oh, I want to go study food biology, you can help enlighten a child about the prospects of getting jobs, what the industry is like. When they have the light bulb moment, when you do that open-heartedly, they can see that, oh, okay, look, it's one thing to go study food biology. I'm just using that as a random example, right? You're not going to get any job, or the jobs that you're going to get maybe $20,000 a year or £25,000 a year or whatever. It will take you, this is the max you can get in the industry, blah, 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 blah. And then they might have a consideration. For some people, in fact, it's not even about the huge amount of money that they can earn. It's about fulfillment. Trust me. The funny thing about life is some people, they are okay with just about enough. Trust me, some people are like that. That's why you have some people, they're school teachers. Teachers don't get paid huge amount of money, but they're a major cog in the wider society. Teachers don't earn huge amount of money, as a lot of you know, but they hold a very, very powerful role in the society in um, in helping you shaping your pathway in life and all that. But how are we not sure the dad was not? Come on, man. Come on. There are plenty of similar stories, man. It's very common. I'm a Nigerian by roots, in case there are non-Nigerian, work. The person writing this is already in her 30s. I don't know her parent. And for that to happen, you understand me? I don't understand what a parent will want so much, that it's so serious, because a child wants to become an oil paint artist. There are loads of successful artists. There are loads of great artists. Yeah. So what is this thing? You have to go study engineering. Do you know what's funny? What's interesting? I can personally tell you that I know a few people myself on a personal level in this country that they have degrees. They have degrees just collecting dusts in their wardrobes. Like some people have 2 degrees, and when you have a chat with them, you soon realize, oh, wait, you studied accountancy. Wait, you have a degree in IT, or you have a degree in computer science. So how come you're not into computer science? And you hear stuff like, it was my dad that asked me to study computer science, or my mom forced me to go study computer science. That's not what I want to do. Sometimes some of them, when they then get jobs, somebody said, but how many successful artists are there? Do you have data, Tony Samuel? Do you have data? It's not for you to be pointing your snout about how many successful artists. That's one thing you don't know. It says narcissistic behavior, because you see, when you go about, oh, but how many, oh, this, but because of this, what tends to happen, what tends to happen is you will destroy the lives of those children. They become adults who are trapped in a cycle of trauma. They live a life of zero fulfillment. There is more to life. You see, as parents, we are guardians. Of course, you do your best for your children, but you must make sure that your children, they make the best of choices. Let me digress and tell you something. Some of you would know this, some of you that are old enough. Did you know that years ago, before Premiership football became really popular, like before it became like a sport where people are earning huge amounts of money, in Nigeria, right? When I was a kid, most Nigerian parents, even the ones that gave birth to boys that were naturally gifted at playing football, the dads, mostly dads in the areas that we lived, they will beat the crap out of you if they find you playing football. In fact, there was this notion at some point, like, oh, kids that love playing football, oh, they were regarded as never to do well types, or unserious by the society. Some of you know this. If you grew up in Nigeria, you would know what I'm saying. Like, if kids were playing ball in an open field, or like on a plot of land with an uncompleted building, and you could see them dribbling and stuff, most dads, there was a time, most parents will go after those kids and stop you. They will beat the crap out of you. Some children got kicked out of their homes because they played too much football, because they were looked at as, they were seen as nuisance. They were seen as unserious bunch of children. But guess what? As the years went by, And then I was beaten and battered for playing football. Thank you. As the years went by, and then the growth, and then the popularity of Premiership football, because I remember football scouts started coming to Nigeria, right? And they were picking the talents. Some of these people from Germany, from across Europe, they would come. Like in Ibadan, you look at places like Liberty Stadium. You know, in Lagos, there's a popular place in Lagos called Evans Square. Evans Square, where football, they used to play football. You see all these boys playing football without even, some of them don't even have boots. Some of them don't even have corresponding socks. Do you understand what I'm saying? Now, those scouts would come from Europe and they started picking the talents one after the other, right? Pepsi Academy, thank you, Ola. Thank you. When the same Nigerian parents realized that, oh, they are taking these boys to Europe, they are breaking bread. Oh, they will pick such and such. Oh, he's now playing in Qatar. Oh, he's gone to Germany. Oh, he's now playing in Italy. Oh, he's playing in Argentina. Oh, he's gone to the UK to play football. He's earning Forex. Everybody and their mama were now pushing their children to football. You know why? Not because they desire the best for those children, it's for selfish interest. That's why I talk about the toxic culture that's prevalent in our society. Every parent, I remember years ago, man, every parent started, once they realized that their son can dribble 2, 3, 4, 5 players, everybody's talking about, such and such can play. Oh, yeah. The parents became desperate because of their concealed selfish interest, not because of the exposure that they desperately wanted for their child. No, because they know that they're going to monetize and commodify that child for their own selfish interest. You see what I'm saying? And equally, I remember a lot of gifted footballers when I was growing up back then as a youngin'. There's a lot of gifted footballers that some of these parents killed the opportunities that the universe put before them, before those children. Because why? They themselves were emotionally insensitive. They were blind. A lot of them were ignorant. I remember growing up, I used to see like some older boys back then, some of them my peers, they would play ball. Some of them would lose their toenails because they couldn't afford to buy football boots, right? They would dribble and play for hours. Some of them, after playing the football, they have to go home to get the hell flogged out of them. A lot of them, they didn't get proper assistance by the parents to go to football academies and work on their talents whilst they were young enough. Some of them, they chased the dream, chased the dream, chased the dream. There was no support, and they got older. Before you know, they got into their mid-20s, late 20s, 30s, and then before you know, the window of becoming a professional footballer closed on them. So many lives, man. So many lives have been destroyed that way. Sometimes our interpretation of love, no, the thing is parents are afraid. It's not about afraid. It's not about afraid. It's about ignorance. It's about narcissism. I remember a friend of mine when I was growing up, just naturally in him, he had a giant booklet. He used to read dictionary. I remember then I read a lot of dictionary too. I love going through the dictionary, picking out words. When you read a book, you look for similar meanings and stuff. And we started writing poems together. It was a great experience. It just flowed organically through us. I enjoy writing poems and stuff. And guess what? He wrote a lot of poems. he would send back in Nigeria, he will apply. This was the early days of the internet. He would submit his poetry online. That was when we had dial-up internet. He would submit the poetry online, you know, and he won competition and all that. The dad would pick up his poetry booklet, you know, chunky booklet where he was handwriting his poems. Bear in mind, this boy did not have any backup copies. Back then, nobody had access to a personal computer. You know, it was just a giant desktop with a big, the big side of the screens. Remember those old style computers? And one day, it was on a Saturday morning, the dad took the poetry book, big chunk. This boy had won 4 poetry competition, 2 in the States, 1 in France, 1 in the UK. The France and the UK, they sent him an invitation letter to Nigeria, and even for a guardian or parent to fly to the UK for a poetry competition. You know what the dad did? The dad set it ablaze. So, oh, you are now writing love letter to girls at your tender age. You want to be a Casanova, yeah? And you need to go and study whatever, maybe become a doctor. And so that guy today, I don't know if he's still alive, man. He ended up just going off tangent, and he just went off, became a nuisance in the society. He turned to drugs. The dad, all the invitation letter that was sent from the UK, the dad burnt everything. The guy's poetry book, I remember then, used to be this big. The dad ripped everything apart and said, oh, he's fascinated about women. Oh, he's definitely going to hell. He's demonic. And the dad burnt the book. You see, that experience destroyed him. And I remember he turned to start smoking substance, and somebody said, now, do you understand me? So if you find some of those parents that were not against such ideas, the numbers were minute. As the years went by, and they soon realized that, started seeing that, oh, so there is monetary benefit in this. The parents then prioritized themselves, put themselves in the picture. Now, in the case of this lady's story, it was a case of a man. Think about it, man. I think it's heightened toxicity for you to tell a child that if you don't go and study this particular course, if you don't, I'm going to revoke whatever inheritance. That's crazy, man. If I intended to give inheritance to any of my children, what would make me pull plugs on the inheritance would be if the child turned out to be like a devious human being. They were involving themselves in illegalities, breaking the law, or they showed a blatant disregard for me, their mom, like they've gone left with their life and they are living a crazy, crazy life, obviously crazy life. Or they're squaring up to me and they've become like really unruly or threatening to my person. Of course, I'm not going to give you anything. And that doesn't mean you're not going to go and make it with your life. In those kind of extenuating circumstances. Yeah, at the end of the day, I worked for that inheritance. But for me to weaponize and say, if you don't become a medical doctor, you don't get, come on, man. Whatever happened to that's what we don't have. Whatever happened to sitting down with your kids, with them, and listening to them, let them speak, let them express themselves. What would you like to do? Why do you want to become a doctor? Talk to daddy. I just want to be a doctor. Okay, why? You would have known. Then you open the channel. You let the child express himself. Your job is to guide them. So somebody was saying earlier. Somebody was saying earlier that how many artists are out there. There are plenty of successful artists. It's a very ignorant statement that's prevalent in the black community because, for the most part, we really don't appreciate art. We don't have a lot of appreciation for arts like white folks do. We don't. There are black people that love artworks, but we don't really pay attention to art. Nah, that's why people assume that it's a nonsensical choice. You don't do that, man. The dad mostly probably saw the potential in the child be a medical doctor. Of course, Nigerian parents now encouraged and support their kids in music, movie, acting, football. It's because they are rewarding careers financially, not because they believe in the happiness of their children. Thank you. There was a particular Nigerian stand-up comedian. I remember watching this, and the guy, I'll remember his name now. So when he started, right, as a stand-up comedian in Nigeria, he said he remembered he came home late at night. He was still living with the parents then. So the dad was awake, mom was already sleeping, dad was in the living room, you know, where are you coming from at nearly midnight? And he said, oh, Dad, I started, you know, performing, you know, stand-up comedy. So I was invited to an event. You know, he thought the dad would be amazed and embrace it. So he showed the evidence. Is at the time, which was years ago, he was paid 20,000 naira for the show, which was a lot of money at the time. 20,000 naira had weight then. And the dad slapped him about, how dare you, blah, 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 blah. You're going to become an engineer. And the guy said, you know, Dad, I love this. You know, he said he had already written some jokes. So he went into the room and no, not Teju Babyface, not Teju Babyface. He has a similar story too. There's another guy. He's an Igbo guy. He's an Igbo guy. I remember his name. He showed his father the booklet that I've been writing my own materials. He was desperately trying to connect with his dad and convince him. The dad ripped the book. He took a wooden stick, beat him to pulp. The guy broke a finger that night. He was kicked out of the house. How dare you, stand-up comedy, blah, blah, blah. So when he was kicked out, fortunately, one of his uncles took him in. The uncle said, don't worry. The uncle believed in him. The dad disowned him. So the uncle believed in him and said, okay, as long as you're not committing a crime, are you happy? You want to do this comedy thing? And the guy said, okay, cool. So the uncle followed him to one of the events where this guy was working as an MC for the event, and he felt like, boy, this dude performed well. So at the time, the guy left that party with 60,000 naira. I'm talking years ago. Long and short, today, that guy is one of the names in Nigeria that when they call him to come and MC a show today in 2021, he gets paid for a 2-hour event. They're getting paid 3-4 million naira and a lot more. 5 million. They're getting sponsorship deals. They're getting 3-4-5 million naira per show. And guess what? The same parents who are now elderly are now enjoying the fruits of this guy's labor. The same father that kicked him out. There is one thing that caught me from that guy's story. He still found a way to embrace his father, but he said it in one of his shows. He goes, I love my dad, said, but my dad never apologized for the way. You see right there, he said it jokingly. He said, but my dad never apologized for the way he treated me. That's trauma. That's pain. He may be giving you stand-up comedic performance, but that's pain. The father is basically enjoying the guy's sweat. Today, he has built a house. He put his father in there. The father never apologized. Only his mom later apologized for not believing in him. You see what I'm saying? Franklin, you haven't finished yet. Yeah, I'll go back to it. I'm just expanding on other things. So the advice to the person is, you see, it's very simple. Follow your dream. Okay? Follow your dream. Whatever you believe in, whatever your ori aligns with, follow your pathway in life. Whatever your ori, whatever the universe. You see, let me tell you this. I'm going to kind of digress into African, spirituality a little bit. Every human being in this dispensation, that's the point I'm trying to make. We were called to this dispensation. You were called to this universe for a reason. It doesn't even matter if your parents had you by mistake. As long as you come into human existence, the universe, Ori, your Ori, your Ori, I don't mean the exact head, but your Ori has a calling customized to your person. One of the worst things that can happen to you, is living a life, going through your lifetime from start till the end without fulfillment. You see what I'm saying? You see, through this, a lot of lives have been destroyed. A lot of African parents have, by their own hands, by their own doing, destroyed the pathway of a lot of their children. Trust me. You see, when let me respond to that. Somebody said, yeah, your Ori can mean your destiny, of course. The mother is foolish. She kept the toxicity going on after his death, of course. I was actually feeling sorry for the woman. I suspect that over the years, she may have been a victim of domestic abuse. But then, for her to carry on even after his death, perhaps she was totally brainwashed at that point, maybe. Because sometimes people are so emotionally damaged that they love their abuser so much. It happens. They fall in love with their abuser. They uphold everything about their abuser. So it's possible. There's a possibility that their mom was even a victim of, repeated cycle of domestic abuse over the years. Stockholm Syndrome. Thank you, Mont Blanc, Noland. It's very important that you follow the pathway. That's why you will find somebody selling water. Just water. Just water. You find somebody else just selling water. Omila solonta, just water. And they become bloody successful at it. They are so blessed. They are bottling the water, maybe small table, bottle size in sachet, and they become really blessed and successful. And here you are with multiple degrees. You think you might even be much more articulate than them. You are eyeballing that business and thinking, oh, I've got a bit of savings. I'm just going to buy a couple of equipment and I'm going to start selling the same water. Thank you. I'll answer that in a moment. How do you know what your path of destiny is? That's why you follow the same thing and you realize that you're unable to achieve what the other person is achieving. I've been there. Some of you have experienced that. There is more to life than what you think your brain, the white meat in your head, can comprehend. There's an energy controlling the universe. Kilori enyo. A lot of parents are destiny killers. That's why You get in your 20s, you go through you're in your 30s, you're in your 40s. I don't know how to explain that feeling. There is that feeling inside. Ori and yeah, that's your Ori talking to you. Every time you're by yourself. Have you ever been by yourself and just taking an inventory of your life? Just looking at your journey. Have you ever noticed whereby you feel like there is something missing in your life? The dots are not connecting. It's not because you're lazy. This is not even about laziness. This is not about incompetency. This is not about, oh, being a never to do well type. No. Your Ori beckons. You just know that there's just something not connecting. Like, what am I doing with my life? Why? There is something. That's exactly it. There are people as we speak. You're working, going to offices. You're working for people. You sit behind that computer religiously Monday to Friday. I get it. You got to cut that paycheck to survive. Bills have got to be paid. I'm thoroughly aware, and I appreciate that. But if you know that there is no sense of fulfillment, you know there is that thing. You would know. You would know that. You would know that there is a particular calling for you. You would know. You will know. Now, if I go further into Ifa, and that's not me trying to tell you to go in that direction. It's up to you. And I'm giving you an insight into my personal journey. When you do go through full Ifa initiation, right? Itefa, it uncovers, when you go through that divination and Itefa, it uncovers who you are. It fully uncovers who you are, your universal data set. What were you called to come and do in this dispensation? What is wrong with your life? What needs to be fixed? What do you need to deviate from? What direction do you need to go? Sometime, what type of business you shouldn't touch? How you should live your life? You would know. Do you understand? It's powerful. This is not about your father. This is not about your sibling. You would, thank you, Nana. You know your purpose in life. You would know your purpose in life. What the universe has brought you to do. There was a day not too long ago, I bumped into a lady. She works as a nurse. She's 41. She's a single parent. She said her husband died of, I think, cancer. So I bumped into her and we're talking. She watches my channel, but she works long hours. So she hasn't really got much time on YouTube. On weekends, try to spend time with her son and cook. And so most of the time, Saturday, Sunday, she just sleeps and sleeps and sleeps. Now, what am I saying? I remember halfway into that conversation, she said, Franklin, I've been a nurse for years, working here in the UK, round the clock, being on my feet, day in, day out, all through the pandemic, you know. But she said, I don't feel fulfilled. And I remember asking that woman, I said, why? She said, years ago, whilst my mom was alive, my mom pushed me. She used the word push. So my mom pushed me into nursing. So I said, so what is it that you really, she said, I love farming. I said, you love farming? She goes, yeah. I gravitate towards nature. I just gravitate towards agriculture. It could be livestock farming. I just love farming. So interestingly, some of my favorite things to watch on YouTube playlist and stuff is anything to do with farming, businesses in Africa and stuff. And she works as a nurse, and she has done that for donkey years. So I asked her, I said, okay, you're 41 now. You've been a nurse since your mid-20s. So what are you going to do about going into agriculture? So now she said, I'm saving up money. I want to go to Nigeria, look for acres of land. She said, I may have to move. Do you understand? Somebody said, but there is fulfillment in taking care of people. Tony, Samuel, are you even following this show? You're trying to troll me. I don't like trolls, man. If there is fulfillment in everything. Hopefully you learn something. But everything isn't for you. Does that make sense? There's fulfillment in nursing. For those that are wired, they are called to do the job. In child minding, it's not an easy job. There is fulfillment in child minding. But child minding is not for everybody. Does that make sense? Do you get what I'm saying? So you got to understand. It's a calling. That's why even in the Nigerian community here in the UK, I'm sorry to say this, you find a lot of people. It's the same thing in the States. Everybody's RN nurse. RN nurse. I'm a nurse. There are loads. Now, I'm not castigating anyone for being a nurse. But the thing is, people that are not universally called to be nurses, they are all into nursing. You know why? Because of the Benjamin. There is no sense of fulfillment. A lot of them end up sabotaging their patients. They end up committing criminal offenses and all that stuff. They end up earning money. There is nothing to show for all the years. Do you understand me? But how is she sure that she's called to be a farmer? Well, you need to go ask her, man. So as I was saying, I think if you're following me, you're listening, you would know exactly what I'm saying. So this person, she's always had it in her love for farming. So recently, she contacted a custodian of the secrets of the universe. Who is a custodian of the secrets of the universe? Ibabalao. They divined for her. We call it Idafa or Daifafu. And it confirmed exactly what has been in her. Now, what's interesting about Ifa is when you go for certain divination, you would realize that there are some things that your Ori has been telling you for time. Do you understand? Do you understand? You will realize that, oh, you already know these things. You probably didn't know how to go about it. Does that make sense? That's your Ori, that's the universe. That's your Ori talking to you. You know, like in English, some of you who are quite sensitive, you hear things like, oh my God, we say things like my gut feeling told me, my gut feeling, ara sorrow for me, my gut feeling told me. And you realize your gut feeling is always right. Something is about to happen or you're about to do something, your gut feeling tells you not to. When you listen, it becomes true. Where do you think that gut feeling comes from? That's your Ori talking to you. Intuition is real. Thank you, Chika. Get a profession that is high in demand. Save aggressively for a decade or less and go do your dream work or business. But if your plan fail, you can go back. You know what? That's a fantastic point, right, Papa? But that's a fantastic point. But do you know what's funny? That template right there, it's funny. The universe is powerful than all of us. I agree with you, but it doesn't work like that in black and white for everybody. Some people have done that. Some people are, in fact, currently doing exactly what you just said. I don't have anything against it. It's a good point, but it's not like that for everybody. Do you understand? Some people, by going off tangent and functioning in an environment that does not belong, or in an environment that they do not belong in, they're not meant to be in. Ìgbà míì, àjálù á máa dé. There will be dangerous occurrences that will sabotage them. Some people find themselves in certain situation in life. The same thing with choosing life partners that you shouldn't have gotten with. I'm telling you, man. Like what you said, I've seen someone do that before in a totally different profession. They were able to save money, so they used that money to go fund their dream. But trust me, it's not black and white like that for everybody. If I go into a particular field or an industry that I shouldn't be in, because I have a plan that let me use that to raise money and then I'll go this way. That jalu ba lo ba mi nbe nko. Sometimes the universe will punish you because you are not in alignment with your Ori. I'm telling you now. It's all well and good that you can go off tangent for 10 years and raise money and then come back. It's nice. It's easier said than done. Some people might pull it off, but it's not the case for everybody. For example, here in the West, there are people working in jobs. You know, some of you are listening. Every day you wake up, the alarm goes off. You're commuting, you run. You know you hate that job. There is a reason. It's not really about the fact that your boss is so bad or your work colleagues are bad. There is something that's not in sync. Something is not in sync. There's something fundamentally wrong. There is no sense of fulfillment. You cannot detach yourself because you need that money. Bills have got to be paid. You have to put bread on the table. But there is something amiss. Something is not in sync. That's why. Do you understand me? Let me look at some of your comments. So, on a final note with that lady, the best I can tell you is when you have people that weaponize things against you or trying to change the direction of your life and you already know there's no sense of fulfillment, detach yourself from people like that and follow your dreams. That's exactly what she's done. Somebody said earlier, the father basically, apart from the $60,000, I think you're going to make more than that for yourself as time goes by. But it's the fragmentized or the damaged relationship with your siblings and your mom and all that. That's the toxicity that her father has basically put in place. Statistics shows that over 70% of people hate their jobs. My former law school classmate received a LLB for her doctor parents. She's now a journalist. My cousin obtained his vet bachelor because his doctor dad demanded. He's an accomplished MC. telling you, man. I hate the fact of the alarm sometimes. Now I'm trying to work on Franklin to go and establish something in my own great father. Yeah. Like I said, man, um, being initiated to that, you know what you're called to do. There is more to life. Yes, we need money, of course. Some people say money is up there with oxygen. You know, if you find fulfillment, if you give value, money will come, right? You will make money. You need money to live a good life, give a good life to your children, your partner, enjoy your life, do the things that you want to do. But sense of fulfillment is priceless, and you can't fake it. A lot of people are embittered as adults. They're traumatized. They are angry. They've got anger internalized because their lives are messed up. It's not even about them. It's because the pathway of their lives have been distorted by the people that raised them. Do you understand? Stuff Squared says 85% people hate their jobs. Thank you, Rita. She chose her own path, therefore she shouldn't rely on her dad's inheritance. No, no, no. From the story that I read, she's not exactly reliant. Do you know what it means for you to be betrayed? Do you know what it means for you to be treated as an outcast by your own parents? It goes beyond that. From the story that I read, a bit lengthy, but from the story that I read, she doesn't look like the type who is desperately reliant. But of course, check this out and tell me what you think. If you are one of 4 siblings and your parents decided to be very mean and vindictive towards you and they cut you off, regardless of what your goals and dreams are in life, and they cut you off just because you decided to choose a pathway, you're not infringing on anyone's fundamental human rights. You're not committing any offense. But because you chose your own pathway, they decided to treat you as an outcast. That's good enough reason to be traumatized. That's good enough reason to be heartbroken. So it's not really about, oh, or maybe that person is desperately reliant on their father's money. Oh, go and live your life. It's way beyond that, man. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's what I'm banging on about, man. So I get what you're saying. And I've said this before. There are some people that I remember a similar story, but this is a young adult. She's still living with her mom and dad. So dad would normally give her like pocket money on a monthly basis. And it was overly controlling. So she was telling me via email, oh, Franklin, I want you to talk about my story. Oh, dad would normally give me $1,500 a month, to support me. And then because I said this, he cut the money down to $1,000. And I just said to her, get a life. That one is not serious. Do you understand? Because it's just normal. As long as you are on their payroll, you're reliant on them to survive. They're going to dangle that money like a carrot. Some of them would even block your bank accounts. They'll do all sorts just to get you to conform. Do you understand me? I am confident that that lady would make a lot more than the $60,000 that she was deprived of. And on a final note, if you have 2 siblings that you grew up with, and simply because daddy has chosen them to be better than you, and they are also enjoying the toxic fruits of your father's action, just leave them alone. There's no point. Leave them alone. Just leave them alone. Let them be. Let them live their lives. You live yours. Life is too short, man. Let me see. Let me see some of your comments so we drop the shotters on the show. I went through it with my siblings and mom favored one than the rest. Oh, so many parents do that. It's not all about her father's money. I've been through the same situation and it's hurting. You see, Tanzanian, the person who worked hard to make the money has a right to give it to who they want. These people, man. Some of you just don't get it. You see, When people talk like this, it just makes me shake my head. Of course, first of all, you have the right to give your money to whomsoever you want. That's right. But to weaponize your money against your children, I repeat, because they chose their own path in life. They didn't commit a crime. They didn't call you any names. I I want to be an artist, an oil paint artist. You're telling me that I must become an engineer. You know, that's just evil. That's what we're talking about, man. So, hi, Franklin. You seem to be low today. No, I'm fine. I'm just a bit mellow. I'm all right. It's so difficult for some people to understand you, Mr. Franklin. Yeah. Or some of them might be in the pathway to be that type of parent. It's not about the money, it's about the relationship and the control parents use their money for. Thank you, Prophetess Sally. Which will lead to siblings fighting each other for life. Thank you. We're talking about the lifelong damage, internalized hatred. As realistic as it seems to work, an undesirable job until put aside enough to break out and pursue your preferred path. The danger is that you may have lost energy and become too jaded to do it. That's right. I agree. Somebody says something is missing in the story. There is nothing missing. If your mind is telling you something is missing in the story, you're just making up narrative. You see, sometimes with these stories, right, there isn't anything special that's hidden. Number one, that's someone else's story. Do you understand me? So they try their best to compress it and let me get the picture and stuff. And some of these occurrences, when people start saying, I suspect there is, no, it's just about control. There was, I remember this story finally before I go. There was a story of a lady who, she went to United States. Her father sent her to United States from Nigeria as an international student to go study, yeah? So dad paid for the first year. So the lady, listen to this. She was going to uni, she was studying. So on the side, right? Because she had learned how to play guitar. I think she was into music and all that. So she formed a band with like a couple of white girls and two other African Americans, like a local band in a particular city in the States. So they would go for gigs on like Friday, Saturday, Sunday. They would gig, and she was making extra money from, from going into gigs and all that. So anyway, dad in Nigeria, through social media, saw a video of her playing bass, the bass guitar and gigging with her friends. And they got a band, they were singing, and they were doing well. So dad said, I didn't send you to America to go into music. And she said, no, dad, I'm still going to uni. I'm studying. I just, I've always played, guitar and all that back home. And I met these people. It's just something I enjoy doing. The dad gave her an ultimatum. She said, only if you tell your bandmates that they start singing gospel music. I cannot make this up. Gave her 7 days ultimatum. Change your music to gospel music or else. So the lady said, it's impossible. I can't. It's not a Christian group and we're not singing anything crazy and all that. The dad said, because you're a Christian, you must sing gospel. There was back and forth over the phone. He hung up on her. Guess what? The dad abandoned her in the States. He stopped paying her international student fees. He wanted her visa, he wanted a visa to get ruined. He wanted her to break immigration rules so that she can get deported or get jailed and all that stuff. Do you see what I'm saying? That's a very vindictive parent. They stopped paying her school fees. So she said she faced layers of complexities and she couldn't finish her uni. She had so much problems with immigration. And then eventually she lost her visa. Anyway, today, after many years of turmoil, she got stuck in America because she wouldn't get deported to Nigeria. She couldn't finish uni. So she met an African American brother who, liked her, had his own business, a food truck, and they got married. He helped her with her status, but today they are happily married with 3 kids. Her dad never attended a wedding. Well, she didn't want it, and she's living her life. She's in America now. Why would you abandon your child in the States? In Africa, we call that discipline. That's not discipline. That's evilness. That's toxicity. Ìwà ìkà. That's vindictiveness. You know that your daughter got visa to go to the States. You are her sponsor for the university years, right? What did you do? Because she's playing with a band, you pulled plugs on her education. Because you know that girl had no other way to fund her education. You wanted to destroy her just to prove a point. That's not discipline. That's straight evilness. She did get into visa complexity. Things got really bad. But being in the States over the years, she met the love of her life. And today, 3 wonderful children. She's in America. She's living her life. And another thing is, some people are not lucky enough. Some people are not lucky enough to just find someone, that would help them out of the problem. Some people, they slide into that slippery slope, into that hole of a problem, and they never make it out alive. So that's what I'm talking about, man. Somebody said, Phrankleen, not sure you got my mail. It's been 5 days now. Gab saying, what mail? Can you re-forward it to me, please? So, for me, follow your dreams, man. Don't let no parent dictate. There's a difference between parents guarding and guiding you. You understand? You can be a medical doctor. Being a medical doctor, it takes years to become one, right? What's that? Emily says, what shall we get you for Christmas? Hey, man, you can donate to my channel, Emily. If you look in the description, I think I got Cash App, I got PayPal. Give me money. You're not going to see me to give me a gift, but give me financial gift and support my channel. Mellow Phrankleen is a different vibe. Do you like the mellow Phrankleen? Yeah. Who here is celebrating Christmas? What plans have you guys got? Let's wrap up the show. So yeah, man. Chase your dream, man. Know what you're called. Know what you're called to do. Yes, I like that. Franco, can you do a segment on what the gentleman Damilola McGregor stated about working 9 to 5 until ready to start business? Not necessarily a whole. I agreed. I agreed about what do you call it now? I agreed about that it works for some people. No, but that's not the same template for everybody. Mellow Phrankleen sounds like a dating coach. A dating coach. I'm flattered. So yeah, if you're a parent You're younger, or you're still young, your bones are still strong. Bear that in mind. Guide your, who's that? Whoa, wow. Happy holidays. You're doing a great job. Wow, thank you. Thank you. Love A. $100. Salute. Thank you. Happy holidays to you too. I wish I can give you a hug. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Dictatorial parenting without logical reasoning is one of the big issues we Africans have. Thank you, Shehu, which is another form of crabs in the bucket mentality. That's right. Yeah, it's a big super chat, man. You know, big $100, man. That's something. I think we have a few. I think we have a few trolls. They're in here to greet us for the holiday tonight. Happy holiday, Franco. Avery, what's up? Was your birthday yesterday? Christianity in Nigeria is a cult. Alicia, good afternoon. Just give it a go and they will come looking for you. Yeah. There was an older gentleman that I met not too long ago. It's 54, I think. We're talking, and he said, Franklin, my father prevented me from playing football when I was younger. He showed me a picture of some of the awards he received when he was a young teenager. It was just gifted. You could see him even playing at 55 on Saturdays. You know, like here in the UK, like men can go like to a football park, and they play. You can still see that this guy is naturally talented. He never got the chance. He never got the chance to be a professional footballer because the father killed off, and the father said, if you don't become a lawyer, I will make sure you never prosper in life. The dad is dead now. He died years ago. He said, my father said that to my face when I was 17. If you don't go and study law, I will make sure you never prosper in life. So he ran away from home. He ran away to Kogi State, to some extended family who eventually took advantage, abused him. You can imagine. Somehow, in his late 20s, I think early 30s, he found his way to the UK, became illegal over the years, sorted himself. He's 55 now. He has his own children. He's here. There is that hurt. And you know, he's a London bus driver. He's a London bus driver, right? But there is that hurt inside of him. He could have gone the pathway of being a footballer. He was blocked out by his dad. But today he's a London bus driver, earns a good pay, you know, but you can tell that his sense of fulfillment, that's exactly what I'm talking about, man. Somebody said something earlier. There are some of those parents, the reason why they are like that, they themselves are products of major toxicity, vicious cycle. They don't know any better. And that's not to excuse their action. They don't know any better. Our society growing up as kids is usually, if they tell you X, Y, Z, if you dare to challenge their thought process, the next thing is they take you to religious leaders and, you know, church or mosque or whatever, get some people, everybody just try to get you to conform, do as you're told, no logical reasoning, don't ask questions. If you dare, just look at your, I'm not even talking about talking to your parents rudely. Just standing in front of them in the most subtle and gentlest voice, and you say, Dad, please, but can I? It's regarded as rudeness. It's regarded as rudeness. That's wicked speaking curses to your child. But a curse without a cause shall never come to pass. Blessings, my brother from the universe. This isn't something African and Nigerian will do. Even American parents sometimes are responsible for the children's upkeep. If they aren't on the same page, it's just unfortunate she's abroad. Some parents use juju threat to control. We realized how much football was paying when we saw Champion League money. We didn't take football seriously. Those who did, who took it seriously, made it exactly. But I understand having a different opinion is regarded as being rude in Africa, of course. As a diasporan working as a nurse, I can tell you there are so many people working as nurses because they have no other option, but they are terrible nurses. Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. And a lot of them end up losing their pins, they end up getting prosecuted, they end up getting sacked. They are terrible on the job because, like, especially in the States, my God, the amount of RN nurses, some of them, I even see them, you see them on social media, the way they carry on. Some of them are so ghetto. You be like, this is a nurse? They go do it because, oh yeah, there is money in nursing, money in nursing. The thing is, nursing school isn't easy. Yeah, it ain't easy, but people are doing it because a lot of people are doing it because of the money. Why do African parents have a favorite child and when disappointed, they curse? Whatever happened to be better than the parents did in their chosen interest? Anyways, that's me done. Thank you for listening. That's the end of the show. Follow me on Instagram at Phrankleen. And yeah, I'll most definitely come back on before Christmas. All right. Unrefined individual looking for money. Damien. And if you want to send me your stories, please, if there is any trending topics you'd like me to give consideration to, look at my email address in the description below. If you want to support my channel through PayPal or Cash App, whatever, look in the description below. You'll find my details in there. Somebody said my super chat. What's that? So yeah, thank you very much. And make sure you follow me on Instagram at Phrankleen if you haven't. And yeah, I'll most definitely catch you in the very next one. Please send me your stories. foodchannel1960@gmail.com. Look in the description below. You find my email address. If there is any trending topic that you want me to react to and stuff, I want to do more of this in the new year. Please send it to me. If you follow me on Instagram, just send me a DM, send me the link, and I'll have a look. If it resonates with me, I'll jump on it. All right? Peace. Good night.